Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, and a very good day to all students out there. So today we're going to discuss another past exam question June 2019, question 2 on Mfrs 138 on intangible assets. Let's start. So I'm sure that you have your question in front of you, or you have your answer in front of you. Right, so let's read the question first. You have Awira Technology, which is the company involved in a project to develop an algal biofuel, a renewable natural energy for hybrid vehicles. It has allocated and spent 2.5 million per month for this project, which is the research and development. And then on 1st of November 2015, so 1st of November 2015, the research phase began. So if we put here 1st of November 2015, this is the research phase. Take a better color here. Okay, 1st of November. Okay, it was 1st of November 2015. 1st of November 15, this is the research phase, and this research phase, it lasts for 8 months. If you read the question, for a period of 8 months. So for that 8 months means it will be until 30th of June 16. So research phase is for 8 months. And then you are informed that development phase on the project begin immediately after the research phase. So development phase will begin here. So I put here development phase, and that will begin up till October 2016. So this is 31st of October 2017. So meaning to say that research phase was for 8 months. And the development phase, right? Development phase would be for 16 months. Development phase for 16 months. Okay. Why 16 months? Because 4 months will be in the same year, which is for 2016, but the remaining will be in 2017. So 1 year in 2017, 12 months. Another 4 months is in 2016. Okay, that's the information given. In early February, the project was viewed as successful. So early February was viewed as successful. The word successful, and directors of Awira were confident. They are confident with the positive outcome. These are some of the indicators to give you that idea that the capitalization criteria has been met. Of course, you will not be having all the six criteria in a scenario or in a question, but these are some of the important key terms to give some indicator that the 6 capitalization criteria, the one that we use the acronym sector, right, will be met. Okay, so starting from 1st of February, it has to be capitalization. So this is the date where you start to talk about the capitalization criteria being met. The economic life of the development project was 6 years. Okay, I erase this. The economic life was 6 years. When we have economic life to be 6 years, meaning that when it is capitalized later on, somewhere February 2017, right? Therefore, it can be amortized for that year, and at the end of that year, 31st of October 2017, you can charge amortization based on yearly basis. Okay, yearly basis also means the same like per Mfrs 116, where regardless whether the development cost being capitalized maybe for just 9 months, you are still going to charge full year amortization because of this yearly basis. And then this is what happened in the following year, which is the 3rd year. You have the fair value of the development expenditure. So this is for the next year ending 31st of October 2019. So it was determined to be 22. So this is the fair value, and the company are actually using revaluation model. So this revalued amount will later be compared to get our surplus or deficit. Okay, that's the some overview of the question. Let's look at what is required. Right? You are asked to state 2 situations under which an intangible asset can be considered as identifiable. Considered identifiable. Right? So you need to mention the word separable, and the second one is about arising from contractual and other legal right. The word separable mentioned that it is capable of being separated, capable of being removed, sold, licensed, or exchanged, or maybe exchanged individually with a related contract with another asset as a settlement of another liability. So that was the first part. It's quite easy. Second part of the question is on the R&D. The first part is on the recognition criteria. So let's plan and do that separately so that you can see things better. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, so just let us draw what happened. So earlier in the question, you were informed that from 1st of November 2015 up till 30th of June 2016 to be what? To be the research phase. right? That was for 8 month. 8 month. And each year, if you can still recall, you are informed that each month actually the research or whatever expenses allocated was 2.5 million. 2.5 million. So because this is 8 months, I'll multiply by 8. And what I'm doing is to know what are the research costs. So this is actually the working for research costs. Yeah, for research costs. So the research cost would be 2.5 million times 8. And that gives you 20 million. So that 20 million is your research cost that if you talk about the accounting treatment, this is the one that you will have to expense off in SOPL, right? Expense off in SOPL. With SOPL, the one for the year ended 30th of June 16. 31st of October, sorry. 31st of October. Because the year end is on 31st of October 16. Okay. The next part, you are informed that the remaining is related to development costs. But what you need to do is to segregate between what happened on 1st of July 16 up till 31st of October 16. And that one was for another 4 months. Why do we do that? The reason is because this happened to be in the first accounting period. So this is in the first accounting period. So here you have your development costs. And this means that this is under development phase. So under development phase, that period is where it does not meet the criteria. If you read the question, that it only viewed to be successful somewhere in February. So if it's here, it is still not yet successful. So therefore you have another 2.5 million times 4 months, and this one would be 10 million, and this 10 million is the same thing where it will be expense off in SOPL. So same accounting treatment, right? Same accounting treatment. The reason is because the capitalization criteria is not met. So capitalization criteria is not met. So what you will do is you are going to expense it. So it's the same thing. Expense off in that year. The reason, the capitalization criteria not met. Next, we look at what happened between 1st of November 16 until 31st of December 17. Okay. So this is the first accounting period, the one in orange here. So now we move on to the second accounting period. For the second accounting period, remember we are still in development phase, so we need another development cost. And this development cost was for 3 months because the capitalization period, or the situation where directors viewed the project as successful or they are confident with the positive outcome, was starting from 1st of February. So this one is from 1st of November until 31st of January. So that development cost would be, how long was it? 3 months. So it would be 2.5 million times 3. So you will get 7.5 million. And remember, this is actually also going to be expense of. What makes different is that the reason is still the same, because the sector or the capitalization criteria is not met. But the issue is that two different costs, which is development costs, they are being expensed of in different SOPR. So this one is in SOPR 2016, but this one is in SOPR 2017. So that is different, right? So it is expense of in different accounting period. Okay. Next you have the period where your capitalization criteria is being met, which is from 1st of February 17, and that is until 31st of October 17. And that was for another 9 months. This is where you read in the second paragraph that mentioned development costs has that indicator of being capitalized. So you take 2.5 million times 9, and that gives you 22.5. So this 22.5 is the one that you can capitalize. You can capitalize based on the criteria. You said that it met the 6 capitalization criteria. How do you find that? That was through the information given there in the question. It says it is a success or successful project. The second point, it says the directors were confident. And the third point, it's also talk about having some kind of positive outcome. Okay, those are some of the indicators. So this one will be capitalized, right? Next is for you to take note here is that in the same year, there are some of it that are being capitalized, right? There are some of it that are being expense of, some are being capitalized for this development costs here, right? Okay, let's look at this part that you have on amortization. So for the development costs that are being capitalized, it will be capitalized and also being amortized later. So for that 9 months, there will be some amortization that will take place because the company adopt yearly basis. So what we will do is we're going to look at what will we amortize at the end of the year, the end of 31st of October 2017. So 31st of October 2017. So now development cost capitalized is this, so I put here amortization expense, amortization of development cost capitalized. So it will be 22.5, which is the one capitalized, and you are informed that the estimated useful life is 6 years. You're also informed it is yearly basis, right? So divided by 6 times 1, even though that was regardless less than a year, only 9 months. So therefore you have your amortization to be 3.75, and this is an amortization expense. At the end of the year, the amount that you will show, carrying amount in the soft P, which is as at 31st of October 17, the carrying amount should be 18.75. Okay, I'm going to erase this part because I want to show the journal entry related to the amortization. So for this amortization, we're going to debit amortization expense, which is in your SOPL, with 3.75, and you are going to credit accumulated amortization 3.75. And this happened again in the same year, which is on also year ending 31st of October 2017, in case you would like to know. And this is actually being amortized in the SOPL, statement of profit or loss, for that year. Right, that is what happened, and I hope you can go and do your journal entry for that. So we'll now move to the question, but before that we already planned what to do. And the following year you have 1st of November. So 1st of November, yeah, 1st of November 1st of November 18 until 31st of October 19. So on 1st of November there is a fair value given. If you read the question, the fair value was 22 million, right? So if you read the question, the C1 asks you to discuss accounting treatment for the revaluation happened on 1st of November actually. So what you can do is you can straight away find out what are the carrying amount on 1st of November, which is this one, right? This is the one as at 31st of October, so it is the same here, beginning of the year. You will compare that with the fair value 22 million. If you compare that with the fair value, you will get 3.25 million. So this is the revaluation surplus, 3.25. And what you need to understand is that for the revaluation surplus, yeah, this is the one that you will debit the development cost capitalized with this figure and credit the ARR. And at the same time, the amortization that you provide earlier, right, that also must be eliminated. So you're going to debit development cost with the amortization. So will be, you don't have to do that for this question, but it's just some knowledge. So let's just Okay, I read that for you to think on your own. Let's go and look at the discussion of the question. So I hope you have understood what the question is like. So shall we go back to the answer for you to take note. So I'll be very quick for this part. We go straight away to the page because we have already discussed the whole thing in a very detailed manner. Okay, so let's look at what you have here. So if you look at first accounting period, you're asked to explain. Okay. Look at the point that I have jotted down earlier are all here. So this is just the introduction that it can be divided into research and development, the internally generated asset. This is under actually paragraph 57 of MFRS 138. Go and check that paragraph. Divided into research, and you need to determine whether they can be capitalized or not. So this is not really the really important point. The point is you need to explain what should you do with the research cost. So research cost, put the date in detail from November until what date. You should mention that it is being expensed off in the SOPL, and it was expensed off giving the reason why, because the future economic benefit is not probable. That is why it was expensed off in the SOPL for that year 2016. Okay, give the reason. Future economic benefits is not yet probable. Next, you have the development cost. Okay, then you have the development cost incurred. Let's use the highlighter. Okay, development cost incurred. Development costs here. Where is it? Development costs incurred, amounted to 10 million. So you need to mention the amount. Even here, the amount is important for the research cost just now. Expense of the reason, because the future economic benefit not probable. Expense of in the SOPL. Show the detailed calculation. Same goes here with the detailed calculation. You can say that put the period where it is being written off or expense off, because give the reason why it does not meet the recognition criteria. Not really met the recognition criteria. You can also say that it does not meet the capitalization criteria. It does not meet that criteria. Okay, that was the first part, right? So the amount was determined earlier. Next one, we move on to our next part, which is question the one in the second year. So in the second year, in the second year, you know that development expenditure was 7.5 million. Show the detail and put the period as well, November to January. It is being expense off. Don't just say expense off. You need to mention that it does not meet the recognition criteria. Okay, or you can say it does not meet the capitalization criteria. Next, now you need to mention about the part that is, first you mention about the part that is being expensed off. Now you mention about the part that it met the criteria. So starting from February, you need to mention that the company can now capitalize the cost, right? Directors are confident with the positive outcome that I mentioned earlier. It meets the criteria for capitalization and therefore can be capitalized. Can be capitalized. You have the word here, can be capitalized, because it met the recognition criteria or it met the capitalization criteria. You can use the capitalization criteria here. Okay, make sure you explain with the figures as well. The last part is to discuss the accounting treatment for the revaluation. So first thing is that you need to mention what are the carrying amount as at 1st of 2018. It was 18.75. It will be compared with the fair value. The difference of 3.25 million is recognized as a surplus in the revaluation reserve. Then you can also mention about the accumulated amortization that were being charged for that year. So you need to mention the accumulated, oops, it is not listening to me, this one. So you can do that on your own, but I'm trying to show you. So you can mention about the accumulated amortization will also be eliminated, and also talk about the carrying amount, right? That one is necessary if you discuss for the whole year, but here you need to just talk about the accumulated amortization. So let's just write it here. The accumulated amortization, this is the third point. Amortization of, how much was it? 3.75 is eliminated against the development costs as at 1st of January 2018. Okay, so the carrying amount was 18.75. Now it is 22 million. Okay, that was the second part. Mention about the surplus, the fair value. Mention also about what is the carrying amount at the beginning, and also the accumulated amortization. So your working will be able to structure you on what you are going to write. Next one is to discuss accounting treatment for the following situation where directors now assess and concluded that on 31st of October that the market for the product is unlikely to exist. Maybe you thought at that time that was on demand, but now the demand was no longer there. So the directors say that the project or R&D project was not feasible. Maybe like having a cars that can fly. At that time you think, wow, it's feasible, but actually there are no market for such products, so that is considered as not feasible. So if the company has the intention to do so, maybe the director can say, let's call it off. So when call it off means they're not trying to continue with the development. Okay, 31st of October, the criteria are no longer being satisfied. Why? Directors has already concluded that the product are unlikely to exist. Why? The reason is because there are no market, that the market is unlikely to exist. So therefore that is showing an indicator that it is not feasible to continue with the development project. So you need to know that if you want to develop a project or an invention or whatever system, that system should be in demand, right? So here if there is no demand, no supply, then on therefore the 22.5, which is the cost, right, should be written off. So meaning that you will do this debit SOPL by 31st of October, right, which is the development cost, and you are going to credit the development cost. So when you write debit SOPL, that was actually development cost, right, written off. Okay, unless it is still feasible, you will capitalize. Okay, that's it for the discussion of question 2 October, June 2019. I hope you have learned a lot from this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you when I will see you. Stay safe, study at home. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.